What's going on, people? I am Kay Julisse, and I'm here to just talk a little bit about my journey with therapy. I'm hoping this will be episode 1 of a series where we talk about therapy and how it correlates with our relationship with God and how therapy is needed. I think therapy is kind of like a buzzword now, or just it's popular now, especially amongst African American people. Whereas before it was like, all I need is a little Jesus and I think I'm good. And I think for a long time, Black people have gone with that notion. But I do believe that therapy is necessary and needed. So just some backstory. I'm pretty chill, pretty relaxed, and I'm not one to just kind of openly talk about everything that bothers me. That's, I think in some ways it's good, in some ways it's bad, because I'm not always so forthcoming to say like, oh, I'm struggling with this thing. Now, if we're having a conversation and we're talking and I'm going to give you all the details, I'm very honest and truthful about, myself, and I'm going to give you details and I'm going to tell you how I feel for sure. But I'm just not one to just outwardly just without any kind of provoking, like just tell you everything. And that's just not it. And so in therapy, I realized that that's all tied to some things in my childhood that I created, which is just crazy how our minds formulate ideas and formulate opinions and formulate judgments, and then how the mind then teaches you how to like go forward. It's very interesting. Why did I go to therapy? Why? What triggered it? Unfortunately, I experienced something pretty traumatic. I witnessed someone being murdered, pretty much. Witnessed a murder. Our brains are not built to process and take in that kind of image. And, media and everything else going on desensitizes us to these images and to these things. You watch Power enough episodes, you should be fine. But no, it's not the truth. As close as this camera is to me, witnessing it right in front of my face, it messed me up. I'm gonna just be completely honest. It messed up. It just messed up my mind and like how I saw, and like I just was in disbelief, to be honest. And I saw that it was actually making me withdraw from people around me, and it made me very like, it definitely instilled fear in me. It started to make me think about life and death a lot. And, I'll get into that in another episode a little bit more. But it just really turned my mind around. And so I went to church, and one of the sisters who is a therapist said, look, if you need to talk about this and we're here, let me know. And then I'll kind of put you with someone and you can talk it out with a therapist. And I said, okay, I'll think about it. I found that I was constantly seeing the image. I was constantly seeing it. And I started to like really assess like how withdrawn I was. And I eventually was like, Kim, I think you might need some therapy. And so, called in the referral, did everything I need to do to set it up. And I think from starting that process really was a game changer for my life, not just getting over the incident. And so going into therapy, I thought we were just going to talk about this incident that happened, and we're going to unpack that, and then I'll be good to go and I can keep it moving. But no, that's not what happened. We talked about everything else, like childhood. Why do you think this way? Why do you cope? Why do you cope this way? Why do you think no one cares? Why do you, just all of these things started to come out, and I started to realize like, okay, this is a setup. That's one thing. God will set you up. And it's crazy, right? Because I didn't want the situation that happened to happen. I didn't want to be there for it. I didn't want that young man to die. I didn't want any of that to happen. But God used that to pull me into a space where I was open to talking and open to confront my emotions. And, as a Christian, I should be I should be comfortable with doing that, because I should be doing that with the Lord all the time, like in prayer and reading his word. I should be always conversing with him about my emotions. And while I am, I'm not always so open to wanting to deal with hard things. And so I think therapy started to really open that door where not only am I speaking with my therapist about these things, which it's important to have a Christian therapist if you are in fact a Christian, because with our sessions, okay, we done unpack this thing, us two humans, but now she's pointing me to now converse with God about these things. And that's the key. Like, you know, the whole therapy in a worldly sense is like, it's just these two humans who are flawed and like you both have your own thoughts and you guys have your own morals and everything else. But there's no filter, or there's no absolute truth that is like basing your ideas, your I don't know if that makes sense, but like I think with me having a Christian therapist, not only are we dissecting, and not only is she using her clinical teaching to help me cope with my emotions, but now we are also coupling that with the word, like what God says and what God's will is for our lives and for my life. And so that is the game changer for me. And I feel like what therapy did was open this door where now I'm like, God, I feel this way, and I'm just going to be completely honest about it. And Lord, I need you to like pull me out of this, or I need you to help me get through this. And speaking of honesty, I feel like it's not that I'm a liar. Like I wouldn't say that, but I think therapy really is teaching me how to be completely honest with how I'm feeling. And I think that's a key too, because you have to be honest about where you are so that God can then take you somewhere. And I think, you know, when we don't assess that, when we don't really give any kind of attention to like where we actually are, like that's where we start to get self-righteous. That's where pride sets in. That's where, you know, you think you got enough oil, but you ain't got no oil in that lamp. Shout out to Juanisha. And so therapy really just kind of like just unscrambled all of that for me. And so therapy has really been beneficial for me. One of the key things I'll leave you with, just one, is in talking in my sessions, I found that with my personality type, I'm a creative, right? So I love collaborating. I love being able to bring pieces together and making this amazing, you know, thing, right? So I'm a creative, right? And so I love being able to bring pieces together and, you know, creating this beautiful thing, right? I love that. It probably also stems from my sports background of just being a team player. And one of the things that we found was that I'm very passive for me, but very active for everybody else. So if you have a project or whatever, I can throw 100 into that and I'm going to give you 100. But when it comes to me and like what I like to do and what I want to do, I'm very like, okay. It's very easy for me to take the L. Like, I don't feel like doing something, but it seems like you want my support or whatever, my help in this thing. All right, cool. I'll take the L. I'll help you out. Boom, boom, boom. But what's happening is that for myself, I'm taking the L for myself a lot. And it's like, oh, I don't feel like doing it, or it's not going to come out the way I want. Oh, it's not going to do it. You know, I have all these doubts tied to my own things, but then all this faith for everybody else. And I had to learn that, okay, that's a thing, and now I need to reverse that, right? And it's not like, okay, now I'm pushing everybody out, like whatever you want to do, I don't want to do it. But I have to learn to be active for myself. And so in this season, in this new year, I've been consciously active for me. Like I'm really trying to be active for me, and it's been beautiful. Even making this video right now is a part of that. Like I would just be like, I don't really feel like doing it, whatever. But I am being active, and I want to do what I want to do. And whatever God wants me to do, I want to do those things. And so I'm also finding that me being active for myself is leading me to be a lot more active toward what God wants me to do and what God is giving me to do. And so that's the beautiful part that's come out in the last couple of months of just me being active and me being very like believing in what I have and believing in what I want. I can dream too. My dreams can come true. Like, I believe that, and I believe that because it's tied to like God. And I think without therapy, I wouldn't have gotten to this point of understanding that. And so I hope this was of some substance. I hope this was of some help, and even leading you if you feel like, dang, I may need to sit and talk with someone. I really encourage you to do it. I think if you're a believer, please find someone who is a believer as well so that they can point you toward the Lord. Like, all of these emotions, all of these thoughts, trauma, all of those things, we can't deal with that on our own. We can't. Another human is not going to deal with it for you either. The Lord has to come in and start to rebuild what has been torn down. And I think we also need to be open to allowing God to tear some things down that's within us that we built. Come on, y'all. That we built. God has to tear that down so that he can build what he put in us. Like, this is all his plan right now. And I hope that you get to a place where you can talk about some things going on with you. And I hope that this creates a safe space for people. I don't know, in the comments, or I don't know if ultimately you meet me or whatever the case may be. I pray that this would be a space where you can be open, not only to talking about your emotions, but open to God. And so I hope you guys have a great weekend. It's Friday. And also shout out to Preston Perry and Jackie Hill Perry with these Jesus in Therapy sweaters. I thought it'd be fitting for the for the video. I'm hoping to do more of these episodes with some more people and some more ideas and things like that. So, stay locked in and look out for that. I'll see you guys in the next video. Cool? Bye.